as for Jordan, man, they would move on to the national championship. But after him sustaining an injury in practice, it was still unsure if he would go up against Zay in the Wildcats. But that's a story for another day. The magnitude of this moment was insane. During March Madness, you don't always get the matchups that everybody wants to see. But I can tell you this right now. The whole world wanted to see this matchup. And it was so serious, them boys didn't even dap each other up at the beginning of the game. Everybody watching knew from that moment on, this was finna be one of them. Now up until this point, we had seen Jordan versus Noah and Zay versus Noah. But we had never seen these two face off. First time ever. And coming into this, Jordan was leading the entire nation in points per game, and he was projected to be a top 2 pick. Now on the other hand, a lot of people thought Zay was the clear-cut favorite. He just had a lot of polish in his game, and they expected him to go number 1 easy. But trust me when I tell you, everybody in the world had their eyes on this matchup. And it made it even better that it was on the biggest stage, the national championship, the Wildcats versus the Wildcats. And this was bigger than just the national championship, bigger than just increasing the draft stock. This was to really see who was the best of the best in the college game. But hey, all that talking is over, man. It's family in the crowd, it's baddies in the crowd, it's rivals in the crowd, it's friends in the crowd. It's time to go crazy, man. Now starting off this game, Villanova, hey man, they stepped up early. They let the Wildcats know they wasn't scared. And even though Kentucky might have been the most well put together team in the whole nation, they showed them early that their defensive presence was gonna be felt, getting a steal right off the rip. And I don't know who drew up the scouting report for Kentucky, but somehow they left Jordan damn near wide open. All it took was one dribble and then a pull. And for those of y'all who don't know, Jordan can't even have a centimeter of space, bruh. If it goes up, it's definitely gonna be a buck for sure. And everybody in the world knew that. Hey, if it was me, bruh, I'm making the whole starting 5 guard Jordan. Then we just gonna have to let everybody else score if they score, bruh. That's how talented this dude was at putting the ball in the basket. Y'all don't understand. This is one of the most dominant scorers we done seen in the NCAA since Corey Cash. And that's a hell of a compliment. But, hey, next possession, they got another stop, and the ball was right back in Jordan's hands. And it seemed like everybody was just watching every single move. They wasn't paying attention to nobody else on the floor but Jordan. He called for a smooth screen and roll, and once again, he had so much space he could parallel park 2 cars right in front of him. I'm not exaggerating, bruh. And then he knocked the one dribble pull mid-range down fairly easily. And after that, man, it was good night Irene. It was on. That boy Jordan had takeover already. Now on the other hand, Zay was off to a slow start. I think he fell into the trap of trying to go bucket for bucket with Jordan, which is kind of impossible for anybody unless you're a real special scorer. That man Zay tried to catch a body like Scotty 2 Hotty at the beginning of the game, right off the rip. But he ended up missing that thing. And like I already know, Jordan just hit 2. So as soon as he got the ball, he had bad intentions. But that boy Zay fouled the daylights out of this man. I mean, it wasn't even close. They ended up ruling it as a flagrant, and Zay gave him a little stare down, which didn't sit right with Jordan, so he gave him a little push. Now y'all know, they didn't shake hands before the game. So after everybody saw this, we already knew. It was beef, bruh. It was up. And it was stuck there too. This was a rivalry brewing, especially if both of these boys gonna be in the league. And that turned out to be a crucial foul that would end up hurting Zay. Because after coach seeing the actions, he took him straight out the game. That's right. National championship or not, hey, coach is gonna hold you accountable. It don't matter the magnitude of the game. And Zay knew he had messed up because he was the leader of this team and they needed him. Especially while Jordan was going on a run of his own. When you going against a player like that, you got to come up with something to try to suppress him. And the boys that was out there, they couldn't do nothing with him, bruh. I don't think anybody in the country could do nothing with him. But I mean, Zay was 6'10", so maybe that could help just a little bit. Man, at 6'4", this dude Jordan played like he was 7 foot tall. I don't know what type of mode he tapped into before the game, but up until this point, he hadn't missed a shot at all. And bro was approaching 10 points already. We talking about the first few minutes of the game, bruh. Like, is this not insane to everybody? I'm telling you, bro is talented. Now, Kentucky had the fewest points allowed going against every team they played this season. But it seemed like in the first few minutes of this one, all that went out the window when they went against Villanova. This was a whole different beast. And the other teammates hadn't even got the work yet. It was all Jordan Johnson. And after he hit them boys with a vicious spin move and got the finger roll lay, I think everybody in the world can agree it was time for the Kentucky coach to call a timeout to try to at least cool Jordan down. Will Zay get back in the game? I don't know. But hey, the crowd was going crazy for Jordan Johnson. He was putting on a show. Whoever bought a ticket, they was getting their money's worth. And straight out the timeout, hey, like it was Monday, that boy went right back to work. Got another tough lay right over the defense. They couldn't do nothing with him. And I'm pretty sure every Kentucky fan in the crowd was thinking, hey, where is Zay? You got to put him back in the game. Now is not the time for the coach to try to teach a lesson. In the meanwhile, Jordan was teaching them boys a lesson. Got free off of 2 screens. And knocked the tray ball down with ease. Villanova has switched the game plan up, man. After Jordan got hot, coach figured he'd be better coming off ball than bringing the ball up. Considering the game situation, that was a smart move by the Villanova coach. But eventually, the storm came to an end, and the coach decided Jordan needed a little breather. Now in the meantime, Zay finally checked back into the game. I don't know why it took the Kentucky coach so long, but hey, better late than never, as they say. And he came in straight out the gate and hit his first jump shot. It was a mid-range pull, and Jordan gave him a lot of space. That boy Jordan had the quickest breather ever. I mean, he was out for 2 milliseconds. Once he saw Zay was coming back in the game, he checked right back in. These type of matches, I believe that's what Jordan won all along. He want to go against the best of the best. And I could say the same for Zay, but in this game specifically, he getting out of his head. Now in this play right here, he had Jordan in the box for a little bit, which is a rare occurrence. But right after that, he made the mistake of reaching, and the refs gave him another foul. Now it was a little early to say he was in foul trouble, but Jordan was loving it, because he knew once that other foul came in, he was definitely in his head. He already had a flagrant, and I can't even tell you the amount of dirty looks the Kentucky fans gave that ref for calling that foul. Was it fair? I don't even know, man. But listen, Jordan got right back to doing what he was doing, man. Getting busy. Drove straight to the cup, pushed his defender out the way for a nice Euro layup, and he actually finished that mug through contact. I'm telling y'all, bro is special. When the lights come on, that's when he performed the best. Now at this point, with this bucket Jordan just gave him, Villanova ended up going 10, which don't seem like a lot, but hey, Kentucky need to respond, because if they don't, this is a Villanova team that is definitely capable of running away with this game. And trust me, the coach knew it. Man, he was on the sideline going crazy. He was acting like a little kid throwing a temper tantrum, man. They really had him in his feelings. And after that foul, Zay was right back on the bench. And you already know how he was feeling. He wanted to be in the game playing. I mentioned earlier that the Villanova teammates hadn't got hot yet, but now came that time. Now that Jordan was coming off ball, it gave everybody a lot more freedom. And I think that's exactly what the Villanova coach intended to do. And then finally, your boy Zay was back in the game. And they said, forget the foul trouble and all that. We need you to get us back into this. So he got straight to it. And he really got fouled on this layup right here, but the refs didn't give him the call. I know after the game, the Kentucky fans really gonna be tweeting about these refs. It's probably gonna be trending. But man, Zay was locked. He didn't want the season to end here, and he really wanted that national championship. And not only was he scoring, he was doing what he usually do, playing his game, getting back into rebounding, making the right pass, just being a dominant all-around player. He was doing things on the defensive side too. He almost sent one of their shots into the stands. And then on the other end, man, I don't know what was up with Buddy. But once again, like in the beginning of the game, he tried to rise up and catch a body, but he couldn't get it to go. I don't understand, man. If I was 6'10", I'd be trying to dunk on everybody and completing that mug. But somehow he ended up getting the rebound after it missed, and he kicked it to his teammate for a wide open three. And suddenly, Kentucky was starting to show a bit of life. Villanova had to watch out. But when Kentucky responded, Villanova would come respond too. I'm telling you, man, the entire team started to tee up. It wasn't just Jordan. It's like everybody was feeding off of his energy. But at the same time, Zay was back in the game now, so they had to worry about that threat. Now, for a dude that's mainly known for his offense, I gotta be honest, Jordan was kind of putting Zay in the box. He ended up hitting the mid-range over him, but trust me, Jordan was playing good defense the whole time. But when you 6'10", man, it's some stuff you just able to do that others can't. And with that bucket going into halftime, it would tie the game up at 37. And coming straight out of halftime, Zay kept the foot on the gas, man. Hey! Drove and got a huge dunk that would make the whole gym erupt. Now you would think this man would be playing conservative and watching the aggressiveness, considering he was already in foul trouble, but that was not the case. It was win or go home, man. And not only just win or go home, this was for the natty. But hey, like I just said earlier, Jordan was playing that defense, really making it tough on him. And on the other end, Kentucky, hey, the teammates was teeing up, but they forgot about who was the main one leading the charge. Left Jordan wide open. Trust me, bro, you cannot do that. Knocked down a three with ease, and he was right back to doing what he set out to do. Them boys had to call a timeout immediately, because if he got hot again, trust me, he had enough firepower to put this game away. But hey, Zay finally woke up. He was finally fighting back. It was to the point where them two was going at it. Wasn't nobody else touching the ball unless it was really a wide open pass. Other than that, these boys was going blow for blow, bucket for bucket. Now, that's a little risky for Zay, man, because you're going bucket for bucket with probably the best bucket in the whole tournament. Hey, man, play if you want to, because on the next possession, Jordan called for that screen, and it seemed like bro was moving at a whole different speed than the defense. He got to the cup so easy, man, you would think he was drunk. Get it? Drunk, got to the cup. Come on, bro. Y'all don't understand, man. This entire second half was thrilling. Once Kentucky was able to tie the game up, everybody was on the edge of their seat. The crowd was already going crazy in the first half because that boy Jordan was going nuclear. But now, Jordan and Zay was on fire. And it was a close game. You gotta pay attention. You don't want to miss a moment. This is like the Game 7 NBA Finals, man. This is some high-level basketball being played, and I can guarantee you, a lot of NBA players got their eyes on this. I'm talking about Lonnie Wade, Corey Cash, Sean Diallo, even some players in the G League watching. They know this young, up-and-coming talent. Hey, man, they gonna be some trouble when they get to the league. But we ain't there yet. We still focused on this game. And that boy Zay was really making his teammates better. He switched his main focus from scoring to making the right play. getting his teammates hot. He tried to do the same thing Villanova did. On the other hand, that boy Jordan did not look worried at all. I'm telling y'all, bro was literally walking around at one point, just lightly jogging. They left dude on the island, wide open once again. Y'all already know you can't do that. That's a cheat code if he just standing still wide open. I don't know what the coach was thinking, but it was all a part of that game plan I mentioned earlier. Take the focus off Jordan, let the other teammates eat, and they gonna eventually forget he out there. But just like the Villanova teammates rose to the occasion, so did the Kentucky ones. Man, bro hit him with one of the meanest step backs I've seen. Probably the meanest step back hit all tournament. And he drilled that mid-range pretty easily. I ain't gonna cap, that one definitely gonna be on the highlight reel after this one. And then he hit the signature celebration that Zay hit right after tying it up at the half. I think that was a thing them boys came up with, but after you hit a move like that, you gotta hit some type of celly. That boy stepped back all the way from Missouri to California. I'm telling you, that thing was lethal. But right back on the other end, Jordan was like, I bet. You got a bucket, I got a bucket. He came off another screen and he was wide open. I don't know how them boys couldn't keep up. That boy Jordan worked on cardio a lot this summer, I guess. Knocked down another three, and at this point he had hit like 4 threes in a row, bruh. It was getting bad. I'm telling you, them boys needed to call the Secret Service, the National Guard, the military, whoever, bruh. Air Force, just call somebody. But on the other end, it was another wide open three. These boys at one point just wasn't playing no defense. Or let's just say they would play defense for about 20 seconds and then just pray for the rest of them. But man, shot for shot, blow for blow, this game was intense. And as the game was coming down to the wire, all eyes were on these two, the potential number 1 and number 2 pick. And man, they was living up to the expectations. In the clutch, great defense by Jordan, but a smooth post move by Zay allowed him to get the floater. On the other end, you already know what's going on. That boy Jordan ran off of them double screens, and there wasn't even nobody within an 80-mile radius. He was able to pull up for an easy mid-range. You can't leave him open on that. You got to get over. And it didn't help that he flexed afterwards. You know he in tune when he start flexing. Hey, Jordan one of the most serious players on the court. If he start emoting, you know you in trouble, bro. And in the timeout, he told his coach he wanted to guard Zay. He don't care what the circumstances was. He didn't care about the height difference. He didn't care about none of that. And well enough, that boy rolls up and got an incredible block on Zay. A dude that's 6'4" rolls up and blocks somebody that was 6'10". And then on the other end, pulled up once again. Believe it or not, that was his 8th 3 of the game. That boy was going absolutely federal. And frustrations began to set in with Zay. Aside from the foul trouble, and then being down just a few points, on a play where he could easily got to the cup, that boy stepped right out of bounds. That man pulled a Dan Orlovsky in the clutch. And in a game of this magnitude, you hate to see it. And then just when you thought things couldn't get worse, boom. That boy ran into a screen, and he ended up getting his 5th personal foul for the game. And just like that, that boy Zay was up out of there. And honestly, he was in disbelief. We only had about 2 minutes left in the game, and the best player for Kentucky, not to mention one of the best players in the game, fouls out. Which only meant there was only one juggernaut left in the game, and couldn't nobody really hang with him. When I tell y'all, Jordan started to turn into a menace, if he wasn't already. Bro had like 8 threes in the game, and he was still trying to take their heads off. That boy was showing all the emotion that he wanted to become a champion, and it was ultimately gonna happen. And then, just when you thought this dude couldn't even get more crazy, he hit these boys with one of the craziest dagger dunks of all time. rolls up, 360 windmill, nail in the coffin. All she wrote, sayonara Sonny, good night Irene. Hey, Kentucky, better luck next year. Villanova, congratulations. Despite fouling out, Zay did have an incredible performance with 20 points, 4 assists, and 7 rebounds. While on the other hand, that boy Jordan Johnson had 48 points. Yes, y'all heard me right. 48 points. That's crazy, man. But both of these dudes showed why they was the top prospects in the world. Why they was gonna be lottery picks. Everything they displayed out here today showed it. And man, this performance right here changed the platform of March Madness forever. This game sold out and surpassed over 40 million live viewers. Complete insanity. But this ain't the end of this chapter. This is just where the rivalry started. Now, as y'all know, Zay went number 1 and Jordan went number 5. But them boys got another matchup, another championship matchup, and that'll be in the Summer League.